It's a novel idea. Skip, this is what Jerry does, as much to your chagrin. And I told you, I said, Skip, next year, there ain't nobody gonna re-sign him this year. I said, but next year, Antonio Brown's gonna be like, you said, no, it's the last straw. No, I said, no, it's not. This will be very on brand for the Dallas Cowboys. Mm-hmm. Very on brand for the Dallas Cowboys. Skip, I got one name for you, Greg Hardy. Jerry Jones had the information that everybody else saw on the affidavit, with that what happened in Charlotte. Jerry Jones had information we probably didn't have. And what did he do? Because guess what happened? Greg Hardy had 16 sacks that year. So Jerry Jones like, I know what you guys are saying, but I see a 26-year-old defensive end that just got 16 sacks. Even against his daughter, even against his wife, he signed it because Jerry Jones is about winning. The brand of the Cowboys, you know the Cowboys. You know how they were in the 70s. We don't even need to mention what Raphael Septien did.
Oh, well, you just scratched the surface on all that.
Exactly.
There's like 12 stories that I could tell you.
Even in the 90s. You remember, I'm not talking about 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue White House. There was another one down in Dallas. So this is signing Antonio Brown, even though he had, I don't believe he's going to the extent of what Greg Hardy has done.
No.
But we've seen him sign guys with questionable past or character and like, okay, let's try to go win a championship.
Yep.
So would I be surprised? No. But I'm also not going to be surprised when it blows up in their face. There have been numerous books written about the Titanic. There have been numerous movies about the Titanic. But not one time did the Titanic make it to its destination. Not one time has Antonio Brown had a happy ending. I'm going to leave it at that.
Well, the Titanic just had one voyage, and that was it.
Exactly.
Right? Okay.
And how many books, how many movies, but did it make it to its destination? No, it did not.
Well, Antonio has had, to my recollection, 4 voyages.
And what happened?
And one started in Pittsburgh, and he blew that one up, and then he went to the Raiders, and he blew that one way up, and then he went to the Patriots and had heaven on earth with Tom Brady and Robert Kraft, and he blew that one out of the water.
And then after a year, he went to Tampa.
He goes to Tampa, and it worked for a year, and then
he blew it
up. Okay. So he sank his own ship 4 times,
yes,
right?
Yes.
And it's not because he accidentally hit an iceberg. He drove the ship into icebergs
Correct.
all 4 times,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Actually, he's the iceberg.
He's the iceberg.
The teams are the ship.
Okay. Well said. I will buy that. By the way, on Greg Hardy, I said as soon as it reared its ugly head, I said, no, Jerry, no, no, no.
Yep.
And he went ahead and plunged just because he was a gifted football player.
Yeah.
And he had stats to back that up. He also had things going on off the field that were truly unconscionable.
Correct.
That they were deal breakers. They were career enders.
Right.
Given the testimony of his victim.
Deal breakers for every other owner except Gerald Wayne Jones.
That is correct, Junior. He's the
Junior.
And yet, it even blew up in Jerry's face because he was not worth the cost, the psychological cost, the image-damaging cost that he did bring onto the Cowboys.
He only gave him 5 sacks. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, he has another season like he had at Carolina. He gives him 16 sacks. Do you think Jerry Jones walks away from it? No.
You're probably right. And to your point, because I've written several books about all the above, this franchise, unfortunately, has a deep history of troublemaking and misbehavior.
Yes.
And it goes clear back to Lance Rinsel and Hollywood Henderson. You mentioned Raphael Septien. And we can just go on and on and on, all through the 90s with the Dynasty Cowboys. It was, as Barry Switzer told me once upon a time in '95, that his motto was win the game and win the party. Okay, so that's been the past of this team. I got it.
Sometimes the parties happen before the game.
And we know what happened with Terrell Owens, our friend T.O., who I used to call Team Obliterator. And I stuck by my guns on that one, and because I even fell out of being a Cowboy fan. I couldn't even remain a fan during the T.O. years, and that was Jerry defying Bill Parcells, who he had handed the keys to the kingdom to, and yet there was one key remaining, and it belonged to the owner. And it was the master key, right? Because The master key said, I want that guy because get your popcorn ready because he will sell tickets. And I've said this about Jerry all along. I do believe that deep down, at the bottom of his soul, he prioritizes selling over winning.
Yeah.
Because they are simply the most valuable team in the world for a reason, because they're fascinating. They're a story a day. He's a story a day. And I don't doubt that he would love Antonio to be his newest sideshow.
He's become more of a story.
Right.
But here's the thing, Skip. Given that what you said, nothing has put a dent in the Cowboys' armor.
No. Well,
nothing.
You know what I've always thought? All the misbehavior actually sells because it's fast, it's provocative, it's debatable, it's riveting, it's edge of seat.
Yeah.
They did that, he did that, he did that. And by the way, without going into the gory details, the owner hasn't been above reproach either in that regard. And we can go all the way back to the original owner, and you can read about him, Clint Murkison, and I'll leave it at that because they haven't even been above reproach.
Correct.
Okay, so the point is, let's back to the Jen's question here. AB is basically campaigning to be a Cowboy. Now, they're not acknowledging this, but he's campaigning. He went so far as, maybe Jerry Jones thinks it looks sexy that I'm putting out all this motivation and all this hard work and encouragement. Maybe he wants to harness some of that energy. Well, I'll give you this. Little Antonio, he's a power plant of energy. What was Gruden yelling about? You're going to lead the league in energy this year, right?
Yep.
Remember that?
Yep.
80, was he 81 then? I think he was.
84.
Yeah, 84. Okay, at Oakland, or were they were still Oakland at that point. Okay. Now, back to me, lifelong diehard Cowboy fan. Do I want AB on my team? No. No, 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 no.
But you wanted him in Tampa.
I don't have Tom Brady at quarterback in Dallas. I wanted him for a while, but they wouldn't listen to me. But and to your point, I don't think Tom would have listened to Jerry if Jerry had called him and said, please come and save us. Right? Okay, but the point is, there was one quarterback that Antonio had a rapport with to the point that he had so much respect for that he would keep it between the lines for until finally he melted down and walked off at the Jets.
Right.
But they got a Super Bowl out of it together the first go-round, and it was only the back half of the year. It was only the last 8 games.
Right.
My problem with Antonio is he will play next year at 34 years of age, and I think both of us agree he's lost maybe a half step.
He left some explosiveness,
just a half step, and it's a big half step in this league. And he did have a knee surgery after his first year. Remember, he got hurt at New Orleans.
Right.
And he couldn't play at Green Bay. And then he did suck it up and play the Super Bowl and did catch a touchdown pass. But he needed, I don't know if it's cleanup or just a scope, but he did need a knee surgical procedure, right?
Off-season,
Okay. And now, the last I heard from him was that the reason he melted down was that Bruce Arians was trying to thrust him back into the game when he needed ankle surgery.
Right.
And
he had surgery yet?
I haven't heard a peep about it. But remember, he even went so, I think it was his agent, went so far as to say, the ligament is torn off the bone of the ankle, right? Remember that one?
Yeah.
Torn off the bone?
Right.
Well, if that's true, then he might lose a whole step next year because that's career-threatening, I would say. Has he had the surgery? I haven't heard anything about it. I don't know. Does he still need the surgery? I don't know. All I know for sure is in 2 years at Tampa, the first year he was suspended 8 games, the first 8 games, for conduct detrimental to the National Football League.
Correct.
Then last year he was suspended 3 more games to start the year, conduct detrimental, because he had a fake vaccine card, which is a felony offense in the United States of America. Right?
Yes.
And he somehow got away with dodging the
federal government.
The federal government. Yeah, he got out of that one.
Exactly.
But the league said, no, we're not going to stand for that, and you're gone for 3 more games.
Right.
So he's suspended twice for a grand total of 11 games over 2 seasons. And by my count, pre-show today, he's been fined 15 times in his career by the National Football League. And we don't have enough show to go through.
Well, we didn't talk about the times the teams find it.
That's what I'm saying. And all of his escapades off the field, it's one thing after another.
Right.
And he's at least in the Greg Hardy category because he was accused of sexual assault.
Right.
A couple of times. Okay? So we got a long list here. And we have a long history of 4 teams. And to your point, you know and I know what's going to happen if they even try to do this. You know it will not end well.
No.
Okay?
Because the Cowboys' locker room was not nearly as strong as the Tampa's locker room for the simple fact Tom Brady. Tom Brady carries so much clout. They have so much veteran leadership in that locker room to bring Antonio Brown into this. I wouldn't. Jerry, don't put this on Dak.
Okay.
Don't ask Dak to be a care provider for this situation. Don't do that.
Because before long, Antonio Brown at age 34 in the Cowboy locker room would start to consider himself the team leader as the veteran presence in the locker room.
Well, you do
right?
know he's like, hey, I'm better than Mike Evans. I'm better than Chris Godwin.
Yeah.
He steps into that locker room. He's better than CD. He believes that.
Oh, he would.
And he's going to want the
No
most
doubt.
targets.
And definitely better than Michael Gallup.
Yes.
Okay, and definitely better than Dalton Schultz, who's now tagged.
Noah Brown, who they resigned.
Okay.
You're just asking for trouble, Skip. Antonio Brown needs to go into a locker room. Coach, firm. Quarterback, firm. But a strong locker room to be able to handle his presence, to be able to handle his shenanigans. I was listening to him explain what transpired. He said Tom encouraged him to play, says, I'm going to get you your balls. I'm going to get you your catches. I know you're banged up. Now, he doesn't get his balls. He throws a fit because he said, Tom knew I was hurt, but he told me he was going to get me my balls. See, Skip, if I'd have got my balls, I wouldn't even been thinking about this ankle. But because I wasn't getting my catches, man, my ankle started to hurt more and more. So that's what that was about. Guarantee you, Antonio Brown had got 10 catches that first half. You think he coming out of the game?
No.
Exactly.
Okay, and he'd gotten, I forget how many catches.
He got 6, I think he had like 6 or 7 targets, but he had like 5 or 6 catches. He had 4 catches, I think 4.
Yeah, I mean, he had a reasonable amount. But remember, Gronk had come out of Tom's doghouse that first half, and suddenly was the primary receiver.
I don't know if he's from where I was sitting, though, but I just saw Gronk running down the field, nobody covered him, and Tom throwing him the ball. I mean, I don't know what you want him to do with that.
That's true. Okay? So, in the end, I remind everybody, Antonio even bit the hand that fed him the best.
Yeah.
He bit Brady's hand.
Correct.
He turned on Tom Brady in the end, and I was told, and I believe it's true, that he said sitting on the bench when Tom walked over, and we saw the video of Tom walking over and leaning down, like, what's up? And he said, what I was told, oh, so Gronk's your boy again. Oh, so, and then remember, he tweeted several things that were anti-Brady.
Yes.
About that Brady.
Even recently.
Well, and even in he sat for one of the first podcasts and made the point that Tom is the GM of the team, and Tom did not fight for him to get more than the minimum.
He fought for you to get on the team.
Because nobody else wanted you,
Thank you.
Nobody wanted you.
So he's upset for Tom not fighting for him to get more money, but the mere money that he got was because of Tom.
Yep.
Let that sink in. You get upset with me, I give you, let's just say for the sake of argument, I give you 10,000. You needed 20. You mad at me because I didn't give you the full 20. So you mad because Brady didn't fight for you to get Mike Evans type money or to get Chris Godwin's type money.
Correct.
Forget the fact that Tom fought to get you on the team so you can get some money, any money.
Yep.
Forget that. If you my boy, you make sure I make it what everybody else making.
And then we heard back in January Antonio start to campaign for your Ravens. Let's go to Baltimore because he's got 2 homeboys there, 2 with deep bonds, because one of them in Hollywood Brown is his actual cousin, and obviously Lamar is from the same neighborhood that Antonio grew up in back in Miami.
Yes.
Okay, so they have deep bonds there, deep connections. I haven't heard a peep about Baltimore.
Skip, he's campaigning. When you go campaigning, you want votes. You're going to go all over the place. You're going to go to churches. You're going to go to cookouts. You're going to go to grocery stores, the mall. You're going to go all over the place. Churches. You're trying to get votes. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if it's 5 other teams that he start campaigning for. I'm just trying to get on a team.
That is true.
Sure, I would love to get on a team that can win, but at the end of the day, it's like beggars can't be choosy. It's not like you got your, I'm just going to sit back. He's not in a situation like Odell. Odell was a free agent. He had a choice. I can go to Green Bay. I can go to New Orleans. I can go to Kansas City. I can go to the Rams. He doesn't have that luxury.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So my takeaway from listening to you across the table is you would love to see this happen because you would love to watch another meltdown occur.
Yep.
And it would melt down the team as well as AB.
On your team.
Yeah, that's correct, because my team is coached by Mike McCarthy.
And what do you think Mike McCarthy could do with AB?
Yikes. Nothing. Nothing. So my final takeaway is you say this would be a novel idea. It's a novel I don't want to read because I don't want to read the first paragraph of this novel. Thank you.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Watch. And you're going to be over here. I'm done. I'm out of the Cowboys. No.
Jerry, don't do it.
You'll
lose me.
No, you won't, Jerry.
Yeah.
He just said that right
Guys,
now.
I was on the sidelines for that game. I called it with Daryl Johnston and Chris Myers. It was the oddest situation I have ever seen in 11 years of covering NFL sidelines.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.